Hey everybody, welcome back for another nail polish review. I finally have the OPI Xbox collection. I think this is the longest it's taken me to do a review for the OPI collection, but it just worked out that way and that's okay. But hopefully next time I'll be able to get it up super fast. I usually like to try to be the first one, but that's not how it worked out. I did get this from Beyond Polish. Thank you to them for sending it to me. It is available there on their website, so you can purchase it there. If you do, you can use my code GOLARI10 for a discount, and that also helps me out, so I really appreciate that. It's an affiliate link. I love that company so much and I talk about it all the time. They have most nail polish collections that I review. Okay, so there's 12 polishes as always in these OPI collections. 6 of them I think are like shimmery colors, and I think, yeah, like 6 are creams. So I feel like they've been giving us a good mix between shimmers and creams to make people happy, which has been really nice. I will say I probably won't wear a lot of these shimmery colors, maybe 1 or 2 that I really felt like were standouts for me, but that's just my personal opinion. But I do think if you like shimmer and glitter, you're gonna like the ones that they have in here. They have a pretty good variety. The creams I felt like were really close to what we've seen in the mainstream polish lines. A few being almost exact as some others that have been released by OPI, and so I will have comparisons for each one. On my nails I'll put a link to this down below, but this is OPI Heart to Party. It's one of my favorite darker polishes. I really was just craving something dark because I have been wearing all these spring polishes as they have been coming out, and I did this for comparison and I thought, oh, I really want to wear this one. So that's what I'm wearing on my nails. I'll put a link to it down below. And then on my lips I am wearing a Smashbox Famous. It's a beautiful peach lipstick. I really like the Smashbox lipsticks and I love their packaging too. So let's get into the polishes. The first one I have is the Past is Always Greener. It's this beautiful light green. It is a beautiful color. I love colors like this, especially when you have a tan in the summer. These just really pop, and I just really love these types of green, especially like the yellow leaning greens. And so I liked this one a lot. The formula is pretty good. These can be kind of sheer, and so I think you are going to need 3 coats with this. I can't remember if I showed 2 or not in my live swatch. I felt like it was really close to 2. It did have a pretty good formula compared to other polishes like this one that we'll talk about in a minute, but I do think you will be happier if you do 3 coats with this, but that's really going to depend on your application. So like I said, there are other polishes like this, and let's check out those comparisons. I compared it to Pump Up the Volume, and that does have a sheer formula. It is very, very close though. That one you're going to need 4 coats to build up because it is more sheer, and it is a touch brighter and it dries slightly matte, so they're not exactly the same, but they're very close. And then How Does Your Zen Garden Grow is a cooler toned green. I love this polish so much. So this is another one that I like. That one is a little more sheer as well, so I'll let you decide if you really need to pick the Past is Always Greener up. And then I compared it to Tropical Me on my cell, and that one has this sheer formula. That one was pretty hard to find. I think that was like a Ulta exclusive in that collection that it was released in, and that is going to need 4 coats. Then I also wanted you to see it next to Gelato. That's a touch more yellow and a touch lighter, but it is kind of the same idea. And then Going Guru is cooler toned, more green toned. I love that polish so much. And then Artist Garden I thought I'd get asked about. That's more muted and darker and a little bit more green. So you can see OPI has done colors like this before. I do think this one does have a better formula than those other ones, but if you haven't picked those up or you don't have a light green, this is a really good one because of the formula. Even though it still is a tiny bit sheer, it's a little better than the ones they have released in the past. I can't wait to wear it this summer. Then we have Achievement Unlocked, and this is a beautiful lavender shade, or is it lilac? I can't remember if lavender is more purple leaning or lilac is more purple leaning. Anyway, I'll look it up, but it's a purple shade with a little bit of pink, so obviously it leans more purple, and it does have a gorgeous formula, so it's a little bit thicker, so it goes on so beautifully. It's going to be opaque in almost 1 coat, but I definitely did 2 for this one just to build it up. There are a lot of colors like this out there that are similar. Let's look at those comparisons so you can see what is close or exact, and we'll talk about those. I compared it to Purple Palazzo Pants, and that one is the closest. It's very close in color, but it is a little bit more muted and not as bright. This one has a little bit of brightness to it. And then Don't Toot My Flute is cooler toned, so it's more bluish. Polly Want a Lacquer is slightly cooler and lighter as well. And then I compared it to Groom Service, and that one's similar, almost exact. Orly Province at Dusk is very close, a little lighter and a little cooler. OPI Nature Strong, I thought I'd get asked about. Spring Into Action is a little bit more blue hint to it, and it is a little bit brighter as well, I believe. Like I said, it is kind of close to Purple Palazzo Pants, but I do feel like that one is a little bit more muted, and it is going to be more appropriate for the fall, but the color tones are pretty close. They're not exact, but that one is like super close, just so you guys are aware, and you can decide if you want to get this one or not. But I do think it is a beautiful shade that I will look forward to wearing in the spring and summer. And then this one is Racing for Pinks. I love these type of Barbie pinks, and this one is so beautiful. It's a little bit cooler toned, but still is a little bit warmer, so I feel like it's kind of like right in the middle, and I really like that about it. I think it's going to look good on any skin tone. You fair-skinned people, let me know if you like cooler or warmer tones on your hands. I'd just be curious to know, because I do feel like this one's pretty neutral that way, at least when I compared it to other pinks that I have in my collection. The formula is pretty good on this one. You're going to build it up in 2 to 3 coats. You might need 3, so don't be surprised if you do, but it did have a pretty good formula. I feel like with these lighter pinks, you always possibly need 3 coats. And let's talk about the comparisons, because OPI does have a lot of pinks, and I know you guys are going to want to know what it's closest to, or if it's exact to anything. My first comparison is Suzy Nell's New Orleans, and that one's very close. This is almost exact. I will say it's maybe a touch warmer and a touch lighter, but that is just like a slight variation. So it's not exact, but if you have that one, you can maybe pass on this one, but it is super close. And then Malibu Peer Pressure is a touch darker and has a little bit more red in it, and Kiss Me I'm Brazilian is even darker. So as you go from Suzy Nell's Orleans down to Kiss Me I'm Brazilian, it just gets a little bit darker, but they're all kind of that same color tone. And then my second comps is Let Me Tell You About This Color. It's pretty close, but not as bright. And then Lovey Dovey is cooler toned. I wanted to throw in a few Essies here, and Backseat Besties is cooler and lighter, as I found most Essies to be. If you have Suzy Nell's New Orleans, you're probably not going to need this one, but it is a beautiful, beautiful pink. It does have a little bit of brightness to it, and so I think it's just going to be kind of pow in the summer, which I'm super excited about. And then we have a Trading Paint, another orange. I feel like there's been a lot of oranges, mostly from Essie, but this one's beautiful. It does have a little bit of pink in it. It has a very opaque formula. It's going to build up pretty nicely in 2 to 3 coats. I did get it mostly opaque in 2 coats, but you might need to do 3 depending on how you apply it. I do like these kind of oranges though, the ones that are more pink leaning and the ones that are more opaque. The new releases lately, especially from Essie, are more of those kind of squishy oranges that are a little bit crellyish and don't have kind of a white base to them, which this one has. So let's look at those comparisons. Crawfishing for a Compliment is more muted, has a soft, similar color tone. I really kind of forgot about that polish, and that is a good, just kind of like soft orange. If you like orange, it's just not too punchy, but it actually is a really nice orange. And then Where Did Suzy's Man Go? Okay, this was the first one I thought to pull out. It is almost exact. Okay, so if you have this one, don't waste your money on this one. But if you don't have that one, I don't know how hard that one is to find now, but it's very, very close, if not exact. And then Freedom of Peach, of course, is darker. It has more brown and it's more muted. And then I wanted to compare it to a lot of Essie oranges because I thought I would get asked, and Soak Up the Sun is very close, just a little bit darker. I think that is going to be the closest Essie though, and I love that polish, so there's a reason I like Trading Paint as well. And then Frilly Lilies is close, but it does have like a touch of brown to it, which was kind of interesting to see it compared to these other ones. And then Movin' and Groovin' from their newest collection is brighter and more yellow. So hopefully all those orange comparisons are helpful. I feel like with all of these polishes, I did like 2 sets of comparisons. One OPI pretty much basically, and then one Essie, just because these are pretty close to colors we've seen, which is a little bit disappointing, but I still get excited to see them and see how close they are. But this one pretty much is almost exact to Where Did Suzy's Man Go? But that's a good polish. If you don't have it, get this one for sure. And then Suzy Is My Avatar. I love that name, by the way. I'm loving all these gaming names. I'm not a gamer. I don't know anything about games. But I can really appreciate the names and the colors. I think they're still fun. This is a beautiful peachy pink coral shade. These are like my favorite types of shades to wear. I will say you are going to need 3 coats with this one, just because, I don't know, I feel like that's pretty typical for polishes like this that have quite a bit of white in them, and they're a little bit lighter and brighter, and so sometimes you're going to need 3 coats with that, just so you guys know, but it does have a really great formula. Okay, let's talk about those comparisons, because I do have some OPI favorites that are colors pretty close to this one. So first we have Time for a Napa, and that's a little more red and darker. And then Got Myself into a Jambalaya. I haven't pulled that one out in quite a while. It's pretty much an exact dupe of this, and it was interesting for me to discover this. I want to say Suzy is My Avatar has maybe a touch better formula, but they're pretty similar. And then Orange You a Rockstar has more pink, and it is kind of a semi-matte drying polish, and it's a little bit brighter. One of my favorite OPI polishes that's similar to this is SPF 30 or XXX. That one's darker and more orange, but I thought I'd get asked about that, so I just thought I'd mention it, but it is not the same. And then my second set of comparisons, I compared it to Peachside Babe, and that one's more peach, and Knockout Pout, it was almost an exact dupe to that. So if you have that from Essie, that's kind of an older one. My formula on that is not super great anymore. I had to add some thinner to that. I definitely would prefer Suzy's My Avatar over that one, even though they are similar, just because the formula is quite a bit better. And then Love Yourself to Pieces is more of a red coral. So hopefully that's helpful for you to see, but I still love this one, even though it is kind of a dupe to Got Myself into a Jambalaya. But if you have that one, then pull it out and wear it this summer. Okay, so this next one is like the most unique that I've talked about so far. Like all the other ones have had a color that's almost exact or like pretty similar. This one is Sage Stimulation, and it's a beautiful kind of warm toned sky blue, and it's got this kind of green shimmer to it. It's really interesting. It's going to be pretty subtle, but not as subtle as I thought as I had it on my nail. You can definitely see that it's there. In the sun, you're definitely going to be able to see it. The formula is really nice on this one. It builds up really nicely in 2 coats. It's got great coverage. And let's talk about those comparisons. So I compared it to Check Out the Old Geysers, and I thought it would be almost exact to that. And it is similar in the way that it has shimmer, but that shimmer is blue in that polish, and the polish is cooler toned. So it's kind of the same idea, but this one's just warmer toned. And then Alpaca My Bags is darker blue. I just thought some would be curious about these other blues, and I found that Essie Truth or Flare was like the closest shade that Essie has to it, at least that I have in my collection. So I feel like this one is unique. I liked it. I'm not sure how often I will personally wear this shade. I probably won't, to be honest, but I do think it was beautiful. Quest for Quartz is a beautiful shade. I really liked this one, and when I first saw it, I knew I liked it. It is kind of a neutral shade, so it's like a purple beige pink neutral shade that I've been loving. I know Essie has come out with Keepin' It Real. That was one that I really liked, and I'm really kind of liking those warm purple nude shades. And this one's a little bit different because it does have some strong silver shimmer in it, and you can see that on the nail. It builds up quite nicely, so it's got little glitter pieces. It's a really cool color, and it's definitely unique. It's got a nice formula. It builds up in a couple coats, and I think this is the one that you guys are going to want to pick up from this collection just because it is so different. I did not do any comparisons for this because I really have nothing like it. It's just kind of a standout, so I think this is one that you need to get if you're thinking about getting any. It's so pretty. And then we have Heart and Console, and it's this beautiful pow fun summer color. It's got a kind of a red jelly base, and it has some pink shimmers in there that just are really flashy and show up, and in the sun it's just going to be like wow, glitter. And it's got a nice formula. It's going to build up in 2 coats. You might want to do 3 depending on how visible your nail line is, but this is a fun summer color. I know you're going to want to see how it compares to Strawberry Waves Forever, and I will show you that here. As you can see, they pretty much have the same base in them, except Strawberry Waves Forever has like a purple iridescent shift to it. So you're only going to be able to see that in the picture in some of the lights that it's reflecting, but that really is the only difference. I do believe that I like Strawberry Waves Forever, and that's just a personal preference, just because I like it to be more pink toned and purpley toned, and so I like that one a little better than this one. But if you like more red and orange tones, you're probably gonna like this one a little bit better, but they're pretty close. I would say that's the only difference to them. But I think it's a fun summery color to wear on the toes. I said that about Strawberry Waves Forever last year, but honestly I never put it on my toes. I'm gonna wear this one, but I can see a lot of you really liking it. And then we have Cant Control Me, and it's this beautiful periwinkle blue, and it has this silver shimmer in there. It's very subtle. You can see it on the nail if you're looking really closely. You can. If you have your hands far away, you're definitely not going to be able to see see it. It's going to add a nice little glow. It does have a nice formula. It's going to build up in 2 coats. And so I was anxious to get out polishes that I figured would be exact dupes to this. And so we're going to talk about those now. I compared it to, of course, Bikini So Teeny, and that one's lighter. The shimmer is in there as well, but it's not as strong. And I would say of these two, I really like Bikini So Teeny better, even though they are kind of different though. And then one thing that really surprised me is that Dreams Need Clarification is very close, like almost exact. It's maybe a touch lighter and it doesn't have that shimmer, but the color tone is almost exact. So that one surprised me. So if you don't really care about the shimmer and you already have that polish, you probably don't need this one. And then I compared it to Orly Blue Iris, and that's a touch lighter, and you can see it's a little bit more purple, but I thought I would get asked about that one. So as far as color tone goes, it's pretty much like they just added silver shimmer to Dreams Need Clarification. If that one's hard to find, then maybe you get this one. Dreams Need Clarification is one of my favorite polishes as well. So I like this one too. And then we have Pixel Dust, and it's this really glitter packed pink. It's really pretty. I say that because they are pretty, but really taking all these glitters off my nail, it just drives me crazy. I can't stand glitter pieces everywhere. So I was getting a little grumpy with all these glitters, but I'm sure a lot of you glitter happy people will like this one a lot because it is pretty. It's a beautiful pink color. It's a little cool toned. It definitely has an impact on your nails because it is so glitter packed, and it has a beautiful formula. It builds up very nicely in 2 coats, which I was happy about because sometimes with these glitters you have to do like 4 coats and it gets kind of glumpy, and then you have to wait long in between the layers, and I just don't have the patience for it. But this one dried pretty quickly and it built up fast, so that was really nice bonus about it. So I did do comparisons. Nothing's exactly the same, but I just wanted you to see it compared to some of these. So I compared it to Snow Falling for You, and that one is the same color tone or similar color tone, but that one's more of like a metallic pearly shade. And then Mural on the Wall, I don't know, I just needed to throw in another one, so I threw that one in. That one has more orange tone. And then Just Karate Kidding You, that one has glitter in it, but it's not the same. It doesn't have as much, and that one's kind of sheer, and it takes like 4 coats to build up, and it's a different color tone. It's more peachy, and this one's more pink. So glitter lovers, you'll probably really like this one. And then we have You Had Me at Halo, and I really like this name. It's probably my favorite name from the collection, so I thought it was super cute. This is a cool toned purple polish. It's beautiful. It does have a lot of shimmer packed in here, and it is very strong, so it is going to show up on your nail. Silvery blue kind of shifting shimmer. It's a little bit more sheer than I thought. I was kind of surprised at how sheer it is, but I guess when the base is sheer, you're going to be able to see more of those glitter pieces, and it's going to stand out a little bit more, and so I think that's the point of it. But I did want to build it up in like 3, possibly 4 coats. That's just going to depend on what you like. So that did surprise me a little bit. I thought it would be a little bit more opaque, but let's talk about comparisons. So I compared it to Show Us Your Tips, and that one's more purple and has less shimmer, but it is kind of like a similar idea. And then Angel's Flight to Starry Nights is a hollow, and that one's more blue, and I just wanted you to see that one. And then Love Sparkle is lighter, obviously, and not very much the same. And sometimes I just like to add one more that's kind of similar, but not really. And so I threw that one in there, but it is different. So nothing exactly the same as this. It is kind of similar to Show Us Your Tips. Let me know what you guys think about this one. And then we have Newberry. This is a beautiful shade. I love shades like this. I always kind of gravitate towards them. It's like a red leaning purple, and it's got a fantastic formula. It's going to build up really nicely in 2 coats. It's just got a really, really great formula. I love this one. It's probably one of my favorites from the collection, even though it's not like super unique, and we'll talk about those comparisons now, but I compared it to OPI Heart to Party, and that's why I put that one on right now, because I wore it for this comparison, and I was like, oh, I really want to wear that one. And that one's darker. I really just thought I'd get asked because that's more of a recent purple that's been released. And then Violet Visionary is also a more recent release, and that's almost exact. If I had to say anything or be too picky, I would say it's slightly more blue, but just maybe slightly, but they're almost exact. So if you have that one, definitely don't pick this one up because that one has a fantastic formula as well. And then I threw in Essie Berlin the Club, and that one's close but darker and more cooler toned. And so I'll let you decide if you want to get this one, but I really do love the shade and the formula is great. You decide. Okay, it's kind of interesting to pick favorites because these are kind of similar to ones that they've had, which is slightly disappointing for me. I really do love the color palette, so then I'm excited about it. So it's tricky for me to pick. I'm really really just kind of going off mood and what I think I'm going to be excited for this summer that I haven't maybe worn for a while. This one, just because it's definitely unique, this is the Quest for Quartz. It's a beautiful, beautiful, unique shade. And then I'm really just digging these greens right now. So the past is always greener, and I feel like the formula is better on this one compared to the other ones that they have in their line. So I'm going to pick this one. And then the pink, just because I'm digging pinks, even though it's kind of similar to other ones they have. But like I said, all the other ones are, and I don't really wear glitters, and so this is racing for pink, so I'm going to pick that one too. But like I said, I really love all the creams. If you're just starting out and you don't have any cream polishes to wear, these would be good ones to pick up. So anyway, hopefully this review was helpful. What are your thoughts on the collection? I feel like they are doing a good job at splitting up the collection and kind of appeasing the cream crowd and the glitter crowd. And so I do appreciate that. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time, Polish Freaks. Bye.